Yeah, probably like to touch upon like few more to add to few more points on this. Like at least
Sure.
for a beginner, definitely at least casting one or two horoscope by hand will be helpful for sure,
Yes.
because
Yes.
they will get to know like how dasha bhuktis are calculated, how the ascendant, navamsha chart, all those at least the basic level rashi, navamsha, and
Yeah.
vimshotri dasha. If they make it in hand, that will be very useful for them.
Yes. Yes.
And probably one more point, like I don't say it is a limitation, but at least a word of caution.
Mm.
Like in olden days, like when my guru or my guru's guru check the horoscope, right? They usually have Rashi and Navamsa in their hand. Nothing. Rashi, Navamsa, and Vimshottara Dasha. These three only they will have, and with that they will be able to give very accurate predictions. Like within few minutes, they will start making predictions. But now people tend to get confused because of so many options in the software. I see that sometimes I see that people used to get confusion
Yes.
because
Yes. That's a
in a
very good
minute
point.
of click they can get D10, D60, every D charts, right? So sometimes
Yeah.
people go into all charts, and sometimes they find it very difficult to come to a conclusion. So that is something as a caution for at least for a beginner. They should not use all those D charts immediately. Only if it is necessary, they can use it, because on those days, right, they cannot have these D charts in front of them. Of course, after seeing the Rashi and Navamsa, if they wanted to cast a D60, they have to sit and do it actually. But now with
Yes.
the click of button, all these things are available. So sometimes too much of resource is also capable of confusing. Okay,
For sure. Yes.
so that is something kind of a caution I would say, especially for beginners. They should start with Rashi Navamsa, do the predictions as much possible, and in case of any particular need, like they have to go to D60 to predict some particular events or kind of accidents or something like that, then they can, of course, they can do it. So this is something I thought, okay, I'll share for the beginners. So I
Sure.
think we have had a very good discussion on on all the points on
Softwares.
touching on like softwares, like what are the different types of softwares, what can be used, and what are the best softwares for beginners, and like what are the word of cautions for them. So
Mm.
apart from this, like any other points you wanted to add on this particular topic?
Uh, I just want to add two or three more quick points.
Sure, sure.
Uh, like, see, one thing is technological growth. See, software is a technology growth, but let us talk as technology on the whole. So, because of technological growth, it is very evident that astrology has grown too much, and uh, especially in the past 20 years, astrology has grown by far than it has actually grown in the past 100 years, from 1900 to 2000. The growth has been very stagnant. Only after 80s astrology started growing, but after 2000, because of technological advancement, astrology has grown a lot. In India has always accepted astrology as a phenomenon, but in the West, astrology was not keenly accepted, uh, and it was thought of a joke or something like that. So scientific community still it is rejecting, but still today, most of the a lot of Americans have accepted astrology, and a lot of Americans have, uh, they consult astrologers, and there are so many uh, astrologers in the US, and there is a lot of astrological organizations, and all this is only because of technology. And one more thing is, like, the reason why we see so much of growth after 2000 is because of the advancement in computers itself. Is One thing is, blogging became very popular during the early 2000s, from
Right.
2001 to 2010. So astrologers used their blogs as a platform to reach wider audience. So uh, there are still so many astrology blogs and astrology websites that have astrologers who have websites, and they have blogs in their websites. So they are still followed, and so many astrologers still continue to write their weekly or monthly horoscopes in their blog, and they have thousands and thousands of followers, and they have email subscriptions. So and all this started by early 2000s, but by 2011 the trend shifted from blogging to YouTube. So YouTube started becoming more familiar. I mean, YouTube was already familiar. I'm not saying that YouTube was not a famous thing before, but for astrologers, I think YouTube started developing after 2009, 10, or probably even after that. And currently we see so many YouTube channels on astrology, and everyone is contributing to the development of the society and to kind of contribute to the society in some way. And people are teaching astrology through YouTube. People are teaching astrology through platforms like Udemy and Coursera. And people are reaching out to astrologers, and they're also, I mean, young students who want to learn astrology are making use of the platforms and reaching out to seasoned astrologers to learn astrology. And clients are reaching out to astrologers from different parts of the world uh, through just a click of a button. So all this is made possible, and astrologers and the clients and the students are far more connected in today's world than it ever was. So I think this is a major growth in astrology itself. So it's a, for example, even in last lecture for Innovative Astro Solutions, Anthony Lewis is living in exactly the opposite part of the world, but he comes here and teaches primary directions to the far eastern, Eastern Asian country, people in the Eastern Asian country. So that's all possible because of technology. And I am exposed to various forms of traditional Western astrology like Persian astrology and Greco-Roman astrology, and all this is possible because of uh, technological advancement. So I got introduced to traditional Western astrology through a podcast from the US. So if we don't have platforms like YouTube or podcasting or something like that, I wouldn't have been able to be exposed to such kind of good subjects from other parts of the world. So, and one more important thing is, like, for writers like us, it's very important that we have the freedom to write. So uh, not every publishing house wants to publish all the books that we write. So before 20 25 years or something like that, it was difficult to get published. So only those astrologers, especially in the 80s, 70s and 80s, if an astrologer has to make a living out of doing consultations, he needs to have a book. So otherwise he does not have a chance to it's very difficult for the astrologer's name to go out. The it's
Right.
in
Yeah.
70s and 80s, the reach was not so fast as it is today, and it was not as wide as it is today. It was very limited, and only published astrologers or and some other astrologers who travel quickly through word of mouth. Today it's more than word of mouth. It's because of the power of social media. But in 70s and 80s, astrologers made their way through word of mouth. So it was important for them to kind of get something published. And astrological publishing houses don't publish each and every book that comes their way. So they choose what they want to publish. So in that case, 2 or 3 out of 10 astrologers will get published. So others 7 or 8 astrologers will be deprived of publishing, and they also won't have the chance to kind of reach out to wider audience. But today, astrologers can self-publish their books through various developed platforms such as Amazon Kindle. So it's a it gives an opportunity for astrologers to write their thoughts and voice out to the people, students, and also the clients. So and no one needs to be dependent on a publishing house to publish a book. See, obviously there are advantages through publishing with a company, but still I think if someone wants to have a freedom and publish the book by their own, I think today it's very easier, and it also helps them to reach more people. So technology and advancement in the field has only grown astrology, and it has benefited astrologers, clients, and also students. So uh, it's uh, it's come a full 360-degree circle, and I think we have to embrace this change with both our hands and welcome it. But still, as you said, I think it is important for younger astrologers or people who are learning newly. It's better to kind of try and understand the mathematical calculations of drawing a chart by hand, at least the basic Rashi and Navamsa chart. So that it becomes easier for them to kind of apply their mind quickly, even if in case they have to kind of predict things without a software. So I think it's it's a very good point. But as
Right.
far as technology goes, I think we have come very far, and I think it's not going to stop, and astrology is only growing to it's only going to grow because of technology.
Yes, completely agree. Yeah, that beautifully you summarized actually, because technology has grown in all level in all the fields actually, not only in
Yes,
astrology but
yes,
all the
yes,
fields,
yes.
and it is creating really a revolutionary change for every one of us. So of course, software is again like part of this technological advancement, and it is high time that we should use it to the maximum benefit of the community.
Yeah, I mean, astrology is service. So but the service is only I mean, we obviously astrologers get written for their time, but I think at the end of the day it's more of helping people during their tough times. So
Right,
it's important
definitely.
to kind of make use of technology to kind of help the clients.
Right, agree, agree. Okay, Ashwin, thank you for joining this session. And for the listeners, like if you have any questions about this particular topic, like astrology software, like feel free to record your question and post it to me. So of course, Ashwin and I am going to meet very often, discussing different topics. So if there are more questions, we will consolidate and we will answer it in one particular episode. We will dedicate an episode to answer all your queries regarding this particular topic or any other topics. So thank you, Ashwin, again for joining. So we will again meet or catch you with a different topic for the
Thank you.
podcast.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, listeners. We have come to the end of this episode. If you have any questions in this episode or any of the previous episodes, please feel free to record your questions in a voice message and send to my WhatsApp number. Please make a note of my WhatsApp number. It is 90084772228. Let me repeat, 90084772228. Thank you again to all the listeners. Meet you again in another episode.